Good morning, everybody. This is Wayne Marhefka. I just want to give you a quick heads up is that we are in the process of getting the aircraft ready. We should be starting it up, and the plan is to get everything moving along in about 10 minutes, somewhere around 0700 here in Tullahoma Central Time. So hope all of you are nice and comfortable in the various locations around the world. The weather here is quite nice. It's a little bit better than the last time we flew a little over 3 weeks ago. We anticipate this is going to be a much clearer, a little bit more interesting video than from the last time. What you've been seeing over the last probably 10 or 15 minutes, depending when you logged on, is a looping video of some shots that we took over the last week of the cockpit, the aircraft. There's some really interesting drone video that was included that is from, well, obviously a drone that was tracking us as we were flying along. So we're looking forward to a very informative briefing, and we'll get into a little bit more discussion of some of the key capabilities that we will be showing you throughout the demo. All of this information from the BLOS SATCOM is going to be transmitted through the rotor blades. So we'll be showing you some information on the integrated IFR glass cockpit with autopilot, some integrated mission weapons management system, and a few other really interesting features. So I'll be back with you very shortly. All right, good morning, everybody. This is Wayne Marhefker again. What you are seeing now is live video coming from the cockpit. So it may be a little bit loud, at least from here right now, because the helicopter is in the background. So we're going to be going through a number of different sequences. You have the aircraft pilots are going through their various procedures. The blades are spinning right now. We're going to be probably about 5 minutes or so from takeoff. So this is the integrated cockpit, glass cockpit that you're seeing with autopilot. And we're going to be back in just a couple minutes. I'm going to check on to see what the timeline is. But this is live video that is going through the rotor blades at the moment. Okay, hello everyone. We are live streaming right now. I think this is going to be an exciting morning. So I'm just going to go through and discuss a variety of the different technologies that we are employing on this. The BLOS SATCOM, or the through-the-rotor technology, is something that is what I would say relatively new to the rotorcraft industry. There's been a lot of discussions on the ability to transmit wideband SATCOM through the rotor blades. It's a very difficult problem to solve, and it's an enabling technology I think that will be able to be used by the aviation community. The unique part of this whole technology is really in the waveform and the ability to send packets through the rotor blades and use forward error corrections to allow you to have unpixelated full motion video. And this is what you're seeing right now. If you were having various packet losses, you would be getting pixelated video, you'd be getting blue screen, and you would not be having this clear video. So we see this as an enabling technology for a variety of the end users. Today we're operating over KU band. It's an Intelsat G18 satellite, and it's an older satellite, but it's giving us the sufficient power that allows us to have our link budget and the ability to show you the full motion video. some of the other systems that are out there, if you're not getting wideband SATCOM, if you're getting in the 200 or 300 kilobits, you may not have the ability to continuously have clear video. And we have been working on this technology for a significant amount of time now. And what you may be seeing right now is, we're transitioning to a handheld camera outside of the aircraft to be able to show you some of the hardware that's on the aircraft. Here we have a high-resolution electrical, optical, infrared camera that's going to be transmitting the video to the satellite and then back down to the ground. At the moment, you may end up seeing these various little transitions since we're not at full power and we're doing a variety of the transitions and checks. But once we start to take off, we're going to go and have a much clearer picture for the visibility. So I'll be back in just a second. I'm going to go and take a look outside the hangar to see where we're at with respect to takeoff time. Okay, so this is, we're doing a quick walk around of the Black Hawk helicopter, and what you're seeing now is the SATCOM antenna with the V-kit mounting. So this helicopter is permanently outfitted with the A-kit, which there is a couple hard points inside. The V-kit can be removed for a variety of different other aspects. Well, this is you had a close-up of one of the crew members. And so what we just did right now is that we're doing a switch from the handheld camera now back to the primary feed of the MX. So you're seeing now is the hangar in Tullahoma and the group of people who are observing the flight test in the infrared. And off to the side there, you can see our 2.4 meter ground antenna that the information is going from the helicopter up to the satellite and then back down into the 2 meter here and then being distributed to the network of individuals who are on the line. We sent out an invitation the other day, and we're not sure exactly how many people will end up being on the link. The last time we had a little over 220 links. We think this time we're probably going to be in the order of about 500 and probably about 11 or 12 different countries. I was mentioning beforehand that the system has the capability of operating over multiple bands. This particular test we're operating at KU band, and well, it looks like now we're doing liftoff. So what we plan to do now is we're going to do a 360-degree hover that will allow us to go and transition through the rotorcraft hub, so we'll be able to tell if there's any type of blockage. When we had done this beforehand, we didn't get any loss. So you can see the hangar right now, and a number of other Blackhawks that are out in the field. So now we're switching between the different parts of the MX camera. So what he's doing now is he's doing the 360-degree turn. What we'd anticipate is not to have any losses as it goes through the satellite. And so the interesting thing here is that you're getting this information transmitted over the satellite uninterrupted. I would say until several years ago, this technology wasn't necessarily available to the everyday users. So right now, that little blockage or switch is what they did is they switched to the overhead camera. Okay, so that bit of loud noise there was the just so you know, we're not getting audio. It might be better right now. Okay, so right now they have taken off, and as you can hear right now, I don't have to talk nearly as loud as I was beforehand. So right now we're using a overhead camera that is being held by one of the crew in the aircraft. They're going through the various displays, the Genesis cockpit, and the Tech Fusion system. Now, throughout the test flight, we're going to go test some of the various systems, from the terrain avoidance warning system to the various Ares weapons management system, and the various configurations that will be available to the various users depending on their particular requirements. So the Tech Fusion Pathfinder mission management system allows you to look at route planning, tactical situation awareness, tactical radio controls, and other information. So they had switched over to, right now you can see on the left hand of your screen is more of the electrical optical, and what we're going to be looking for now is a tactical vehicle as we come up on it, a Humvee, and then we're going to end up tracking that particular vehicle for a fair amount of time. So right now it's, if you recall from the prior video, we had a handheld camera, and with the electrical optical infrared camera right now, we have the ability to zoom in as they're doing now and get high resolution, which would also be used for various targeting. The key of all this technology, which is being transmitted through the blades, is to be able to give the forward operating bases or command centers the ability to transmit or ability to make real-time informed decisions based on the information that's available from the helicopter. With this technology, it's a bi-directional link. You can either have data, in this case, being sent off of the aircraft, or you can have data sent to the aircraft depending on your mission requirements. So right now we're tracking a Humvee that's driving down the street in Tullahoma. Hey, can you guys try to keep it down a little bit? It's bad. So we're back live now, and they just switched over from the infrared. So you can take a look at this as a tactical situation, is that if you're flying up at, as this helicopter at, right now it looks like we're about 1,600 feet, is be able to track a target of interest. You can be doing this, like I said, for coastal surveillance. You can be using it for firefighting, disaster relief. or you can be transmitting data to the helicopter for real-time information. You have the ability with the integrated cockpit to be monitoring your weapons. You have the ability to put in your flight planning route. You do your flight planning prior to takeoff. You then integrate that into the flight computer. So it gives the users a lot of versatility and the real-time information. In the past, when I would talk to individuals about do they have SATCOM on their helicopters, and the answer was yes. Well, they had narrowband SATCOM for voice. In this particular situation, what we were mainly transmitting is the full motion video, but we do have the ability, if you were texting, to doing voice over IP. There's a lot of different capabilities that you can add into the various systems depending on your requirements. The main information, or the main point here is you're transmitting wideband SATCOM, which is a transmission of data. What that data is really up to the end user. With a high enough throughput, you could be transmitting SIGINT, you can be transmitting, in this case, a full motion video, text, still pictures. It just allows you to have continuous communications with the end users. In some cases, you're actually, with the information that is on the helicopter, essentially be looking at this as almost as a Blue Force tracker. So you're allowed to, you have the ability to see what's going on with the aircraft, where the aircraft is at all times. So it gives you, information. So there was a little bit of a delay there, and what I don't have the ability to see is when they transition from the electrical optical camera to the handheld camera. I don't necessarily get a heads up, so that transition seems to be a little bit, I wasn't sure exactly what it was, but now I can see when they switched over to the camera. This is just giving you the information that you were seeing on your display widescreen now to what is being seen inside the helicopter. They have a split screen, so you have the Humvee that they're tracking, and then you have some other terrain information on the right hand of their screen. So this just gives you an idea of what is occurring. So, right there they ended up switching back to the MX-15 camera and tracking it down. So right now what they looked here is the status of the weapons. The pilot or co-pilot have the ability to monitor the weapons that are inside of the aircraft, the type of munitions they have, the status of the aircraft, and the ability to choose which weapon they actually want to fire, or even from the rocket pod launchers, which particular rocket they wanted to fire. In cases of firefighting, disaster relief, you have the ability to transmit this data back to headquarters to send the various assets to areas of need. This could be used the same thing in a tactical situation, is that if there were individuals who were hurt or needed resupplying, you have the ability to get this information and respond much faster than you may have in the past. Most in the past, you've had a lot of this mainly being used for fixed-wing aircraft or for unmanned aerial vehicles, such as Predators or some of the other aircraft. But the desire to have real-time information, we all know that based on technology today, is that we want to have information at our fingertips. This now allows us to do that. So now that we're in this current situation here, what we're looking at is they're done tracking of the Humvee. You saw the video from that. Now they're going to be going through and doing a variety of the switching of the integrated cockpit. So it's the integrated cockpit and the integrated weapon system. You can see the co-pilot right now going through a variety of the different configurations. So I'm just going to let you kind of take a look at this, and I'll come back in a second. So right now, we're back live again, and it's about 7:17 here in Tullahoma, Tennessee. And I know that for a variety of you, it's in the afternoon or even in the evening, depending on your location. We do know that we have some folks that it may be even 5 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night. So this is utilizing the handheld camera where the individual is just walking around showing you some of the information that's inside. So even in some cases like telemedicine, you could actually be utilizing a camera or sending vital information in advance to a landing zone with so when the aircraft landed, if there was a critical need, is that the people on the ground would have that real-time information to be able to be prepared for whatever incoming requirements that they had. So right now, you probably saw off to the left, there's a number of lakes out here in Tennessee. And right now, you can see from the displays there, he has four displays that he has a variety of information at his disposal. The information is more for situational awareness and not necessarily to be trying to get individuals who are back at some other area to tell the pilots what they need to do, but mainly for the situational awareness. If there was a critical warning light that came off, we've been looking at, could the individuals, the logistics folks on the ground, have a tech manual available to you to be able to potentially troubleshoot something real time that would potentially eliminate the aircraft having to land in an area they didn't want to, and or at least get to a safe area. So you can see, throughout this video or through this time period, the uninterrupted video and the information that you're getting is quite impressive. It's something that, over the years that we've been working on this to develop it, has taken a lot of time and effort, and what you're seeing is a integrated system and not just a piecemeal. What we try to do is to develop a system that is an open architecture that allows customers to tailor what they need to their requirements. It's kind of the idea of having, if you want to call it a toolbox of some sort, and being able to pull out what you need to fit your requirements. There are multiple user communities out there. They all have different requirements, and what you want to do is have a system that has the flexibility to meet those end users' requirements. You also want to have a system that is affordable, reliable, and as you can see from this, is the video has been very consistent. Right now, this is being done with a high-resolution handheld camera. Previously, when you're using the MX EOIR camera, is a very expensive system that allows you to get high-resolution data of targets or information on the ground. Again, when we were talking about the ability to use this for multifunction, is for the coastal surveillance, for the ISR mission, disaster relief. Here in the U.S. we have the National Guard, we have the Air Force, the Army, and it's the same thing for our international partners, is that we want to be able to provide you a capability that meets your requirements to do your mission. At the end of the day, it's all about providing the individuals who are out in the field a capability that makes their job a lot easier and easier to do. What we're also trying to do, what we did here, is when we took off, the system was ready. When we had been practicing, when we've been doing this in the past, when we were talking to the pilots, when he says he's ready to go, he wants to be able to go. He does not want to have to worry about, is the SATCOM system up? We also had a lot of discussions here over the week, is what was going to be displayed? Is it the handheld camera? Is it the EOIR? There never seemed to be a concern about the satellite link in the SATCOM system. it now seems to be part of a given. So what you're looking at now, it looks like they're doing the autopilot is they're trying to, well, not trying to, they are actually utilizing the autopilot. They are coming in for an approach. I think they're probably at about 3,000 feet, and then we'll be coming in. So there's a lot of really good information that's available to the pilots with this new integrated IFR glass cockpit, the ability to monitor your weapons, your EO/IR camera, the ability for terrain following, enter in your maps data. So I can actually hear the helicopter off in the distance coming into the airport in Tullahoma. So right now it looks like they're going to be transitioning back to, at least I think well, I guess we're not transitioning back. We thought we got a heads up. So what you're seeing now is some real-time information. Some of the pixelation that you may be getting here is probably due to the handheld camera and bouncing around, because the individual is walking around. And you can see now this is downtown Tullahoma. It's a small town in Tennessee that is actually quite a nice area where people are extremely friendly, and you can see the back inside the helicopter. So in a few minutes here, I think they're going to be So in a few minutes, they should be switching over to looking at some individuals that are out in the field. We believe they have some AR-15s, and we're going to go and switch to that. So if you can see inside, you can see inside right now. They're going to be coming up onto. So they're doing the terrain avoidance right now. So looking at it, you can see a cell tower coming up, and in the cockpit, if they get back to it, you're going to see as they come close to the tower is that a number of warning lights should be coming off. They're moving away from the tower right now, and what I thought we were going to see a number of different flashing lights, but I guess the features were working fine. So right now they're looking out the window and then back into the cockpit.
Well,
Tell them to switch.
Tell them to switch. I'm not talking about it.
Tell them to switch them. So in a moment here, like I said, we should be switching back to the MX camera. And it looks like right now, since it froze up, that we're going to be switching over to the MX. So we should be, we're back live to the MX. And you can see on the right hand is some of the terrain and the part of the flight map that they were looking at. So they're right on. So all this information for the past, it looks like it's been about 30 minutes now, has been real-time transmission through the rotor blades. And you can see right now this is actually quite clear infrared video. And I'm sure right now, very shortly, they're going to be scanning into looking for a particular person of interest. Okay, so right now we're probably at about 2,500 to, actually it's showing 3,300 feet, looking at individuals that are on the ground. They should be firing a few rounds. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see the muzzle flash or not, but this is just one of the capabilities that you would be able to utilize with the system. So in summary of the capabilities that we've been looking at is, the BLOS SATCOM through the rotor technology, allowing the uninterrupted video, the integrated IFR glass cockpit with the autopilot, the integration weapons management system. Well, you can see now they're firing away, so you can get good visibility of what they're doing. So for me, this is the first time I've ever seen individuals firing with the infrared camera, which is, wow, rather exciting and interesting from at least my perspective, seeing all of this. So you can imagine that in a real-time situation, having the ability to see all of this. There's, from, some of the riots that go on in a variety of places. Even we've been talking to some of the individuals or agencies in the U.S. for some of the unrest that's going on over here, is to be able to monitor the various situations that are going on. This can be done for crowd control in a variety of different places. I'm just going to let you watch some of this. So the distance to these guys is probably about a mile from them. They're saying, so you're in an area that they wouldn't be able to see the helicopter, and you'd be getting this information back for situational awareness. So now we're back in doing some of the, looks like we're back inside the aircraft looking at some of the various displays. Just to give you a variety of the information that is available to you. To a certain extent, you get a lot of information here. It might be a little information overload, but to a certain extent, in various situations, having this information can be life-saving to people who are on the ground, or even to the crews, to make sure that real-time information is available to you. As I said, that through the rotor technology has not been readily available before. There's been a lot of discussions of this capability, but it has not been flown as we've been doing this over the last month or so. And having a FAA certified system, it's what they call a Part 337, which is very close to an STC. So now they're coming in and looking at the hangar. This is getting close to the end of the video. You can see where we're at, a number of other aircraft that are outside. You can obviously hear it in the background noise, and people looking inside of the hangar. So right now the helicopter is going to be flying in. You can see it's going to be flying over the hangar in a minute. And so since they're directly overhead of the hangar now, you can see what's going on. So this is this has been a really exciting video. None of this has been, really all that pre-scripted. The narration has been kind of off the cuff and I'm hoping that it's been relatively informative to you. But it's a exciting technology. I kind of equate this to some of the cell phone technology that was first coming out 25 years ago. I believe that this technology for rotorcraft is going to be becoming a standard, and we're on the forefront of this, and I think you as our potential customers out there, partners, are all part of this emerging technology to help the end users out in the field. All of this is to bring something forward. With everybody here, from the antenna manufacturers to the helicopter providers, satellite providers. We've operated this system and tested under a number of different helicopters. We've operated this system in the UAE, Spain, Italy, India, and a whole bunch of other places, which shows that this is a global capability. It's not limited to the U.S. We've operated over KU band, KA band, and a variety of other frequencies. So right now the helicopter is hovering above the hangar, and he's almost, the tail is almost looking towards the, he's almost looking towards the satellite, and we're getting no blockage. One of the key things about this too is the vibration of the antenna. So the antenna system has been developed that with all of the vibration of a helicopter, which most of you who've flown on helicopters knows is quite intense, the antenna is operating flawlessly. The modem waveform is the key technology. The A kit, B kit installed on the helicopter, and then the network management of getting this data out to everybody has all been worked out. So the technology is not just one piece, it's doing the whole system architecture, which I think has really come together. 3 years ago, we were a little bit needed to solve some of these problems. I think we're all there right now. It's a production-ready type system, and I think the helicopter in a few minutes is going to be landing. So most of you have gotten the email information. I think I've gone through most of the key parts. One thing we're doing here, we're landing the information into the 2.4 meter here. Some customers want to go and utilize this, landing it into a hub. You can land into the 9-meter hubs and distribute it from there. You can use various encryption. You can use AES 256 software encryption. You can use your own encryption devices. There's a whole bunch of different capabilities that can be added to the overall architecture, but most of those, or some of those, are actually customer-driven requirements. So if there's any information after this, I think most of you have my email. You can get a hold of any of our partners who sent you the invitations. We're more than happy to answer additional questions. We will be posting some of the information onto our websites and link, and we can send you individual briefings or information that are maybe tailored towards you, so it's not gone out to a wide variety of other folks. So I think in the next few minutes the crew is going to be landing the helicopter, and we're going to be signing off. And you see off to the, we're just missing it, is our golden retriever, who's our friendly dog who goes and keeps everybody in line and actually keeps everybody quite happy. So now you see a number of different people who are outside the hangar, and the helicopter is about 100 yards off from us. So it looks like they're just going to be flying around, getting some good video of the hangars and of the helicopters in the facility. I mean, over the years I've been doing this has probably been one of the more impressive flights that we have done from a capability standpoint, and showing the terrain following on train following when they're flying, the flight planning, and right now they're coming in to land close to the facility. You see the landing area there. You can also hear the noise increasing dramatically. So you were able to see this video from virtually pre-flight, throughout the flight, all the way down to landing of the helicopter. We didn't lose the SATCOM link, so right now they just touched down, and they're going to start to power down. Once they power down, the rotor blades are going to be slowing down. So, okay, now they just, you're looking back into the hangar and some of the folks that were observing the test, and some of the team members that put all this together. So right now, I think they're in the process of shutting down the engines. So you're probably going to see some interruption. But I think this was an exciting morning for all of us to show a capability that this is really a first that you all have been able to see in all the different locations, you know, around the world. I don't think that you will have seen this ever before, at least from a rotorcraft perspective. And it's just kind of a really exciting. So we had talked about beforehand as far as blockage to the satellite. You know, there's a few times that when you're taking a look at the antenna, if it's going through the main rotor blades, would you get blockage? To a certain extent, it really depends. You know, if you're looking at that for a long time period, you may get a various outage. But one thing that's unique about the algorithm is the reacquisition time is extremely fast. Once you have line of sight back to the target, it's about 50 milliseconds to reacquire. So some systems in the past have taken 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes. At least that's what I've heard. But for us, we get back onto the satellite very quickly and start to retransmit the data. So we're just going through right now. They're going to be going through some checks to shut down the aircraft, and right now they're just kind of showing you some of the flight planning that they had on their handheld. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of the live streaming. As I said, if there's any questions, you're more than welcome to get a hold of any of our partners that are on here. We're going to sign off for the moment. I hope it was enjoyable and exciting. I know the coolest part for me was seeing the guys fire their guns in the infrared. So a lot of this is new for myself and everybody else. So this is, oh, hello, Jeff. So that must be for a note to Jeff Curd, is my guess, from John Wellington is my guess. Okay, so now we're getting a little playtime in here. All right, thank you everybody, and have a great morning, afternoon, or night.